Before we dive into the world of Transformers, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button to stay up to date on the latest movie news and reviews. As a lifelong fan of the Transformers franchise, um, I've seen my fair share of ups and downs. Uh, the original movies were a blast, but over time, the series seemed to lose its sparkle, much like an old Autobot struggling through its last days. Uh, the franchise has been a consistent fixture in the pop culture sphere for quite some time. And it's no surprise why, from its humble beginnings as a Saturday morning cartoon to the massive $200 million live action blockbusters, Transformers has been a household name for decades. However, the latest Transformers movie, Transformers One, is currently underperforming at the box office, even with glowing reviews from both critics and viewers. This unexpected turn of events has left many of us scratching our heads, wondering what could be causing this dip in popularity. A movie featuring Orion Pax and D16, Brian Tyree Henry, who later turned into Optimus Prime and Megatron respectively, seemed poised to be a blockbuster success. The initial Transformers movie's underperformance at the box office suggests a challenging future for the franchise. With a production budget of $75 million, it managed to gross approximately $72 million by its second weekend in cinemas, a figure that, considering marketing and distribution expenses, indicates poor results. Essentially, the first Transformers film is struggling to attract a broad enough audience to be considered a profitable venture, and many of these issues can be attributed to however the franchise was handled under Michael Bay's leadership. The situation for the Transformers series deteriorated further with each new release. For instance, the movie Bumblebee earned less money even though it had a smaller budget. And this was followed by Rise of the Beasts, which recorded the lowest box office figures in the franchise's history. This downward trend suggests that audiences have grown tired of Transformers films, and unfortunately, it appears that Transformers One will not be able to reverse this disappointing trend given to its release just a year after Rise of the Beasts' underperformance. The initial Transformers movies garnered commercial success, but their critical reception was less than stellar, often focusing on storytelling and character issues. The thrilling action sequences were undeniably entertaining, yet over time, audiences started to anticipate films solely for the big robot battles. This trend eventually led to Transformers One being largely overlooked by the general public, disappointing consequence of how the previous Transformers films were treated as disposable entertainment. Into the Spider-Verse, Disney's Elemental, and Puss in Boots: The Last Wish all began with lackluster box office performances, but strong positive buzz led audiences to theaters throughout the theatrical run, ultimately earning each film a successful label. The main issue here is whether the first Transformers movie can recover and earn sufficient revenue to justify additional installments, assuming Paramount allows it to remain in cinemas for a longer period without rushing it to streaming platforms. If given time to prove itself, positive reviews and word of mouth praise for Transformers One might convince more viewers that the film is worth watching, potentially reigniting its box office and performance meeting, along with a side and property. With enough of a resurgence, there could be renewed interest in the Transformers franchise. leading up back to its days of blockbuster success. And on a lighter note, I guess you could say that the Transformers franchise is having a bit of an identity crisis. It's trying to figure out who it is and where it's going, much like the young Autobot trying to find its place in the world. Um, but in all seriousness, the future of the Transformers franchise remains uncertain. And only time will tell if it can recover from its current slump. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time,